morning, readers! Today we are back to building great reading habits. Let's take a look at our chart. We have talked about how great readers build good reading habits. Great readers have the habit of taking a sneak peek at the beginning of the book. So as they read the book, the new information sticks and they understand. Great readers have the habit of checking their sneak peek, thinking about their sneak peek as they read and seeing if they're wrong or right so that their thinking changes as they read the book. We've also talked about how great readers build the habit of doing something at the end of the book. They never just, I'm done, next book. No, they do something. They might reread their favorite part, reread the whole book, think back over all the parts of the book, or retell this whole story to themselves. Today, we learn that another habit that great readers have is reading a lot. They read more and more. This is a great target to practice today, a great habit to build today, because today I'm going to our class library and I'm going to start by setting a goal to read more and more by choosing the maximum number of books Mrs. Norton allows us to get, 5, and by making sure that my books are books that are just right, and that they're books as big as I can read. Okay. I came right to guided reading, and I know that my job is to stack my books and to get new books today. The first thing I want to do after I stack my books is set a reading goal, and I'm actually going to write it down. Now, I always keep a pencil inside my box. So I'm going to walk over to our reading tools kit, which are always available to us, and I'm going to grab a slip of paper. And before I even start looking for my books, I'm going to set some reading goals for myself. I know that I want to build the reading habit of reading more and more. So I'm going to choose 5 books today, the total amount, which means I'm going to have to move with purpose. I also want to make sure that my books are always just right. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to keep reading them, and that's going to be frustrating and boring, and it's not going to help me grow as a reader. So I want to make sure my books are just right by reading a page and seeing if I know most of the words. But because I'm trying to build the habit of reading more and more, I want some of my books to be big. Now, it has to be just right. So if only small books are just right for me, that's okay. I'll just get 5 small books that are just right for me that I read over and over. But if I can, I'm going to try to find some small chapter books or some big chapter books and see if they're just right for me, because I know I want to read more and more. Now that I have my goals, I'm going to go searching for just right books. The first place I went to look for my just right books are the chapter books, because I was so excited to see if I could read one of the chapter books. But I tried 3 of them and they all felt too hard. So I felt a little discouraged, but then I reminded myself, these are not right yet. As I keep working hard, they will be just right soon. And then I went to find a smaller chapter book to see if it was just right for me. The Frog and Toad series is a chapter book I haven't tried before. The sun is shining. The sun is shining. The snow is melting. Wake up. I am not here, said the voice. All right, I knew almost all those words. This is a just right book for me. And look, it has a lot of pages. So I'm definitely meeting my goal of getting some big books and reading more and more. Now I need to move with purpose to find my other 4 books. Right. I have my book stack. I met all my goals. I got 5 books that are just right for me. Some are big and some are small. Now I'm so excited to start with Frog and Toad. That's the one I'm going to start with first. Frog and Toad Are Friends by Arnold Lobel. Frog and Toad are friends. 10 minutes later. After I put on my bathing suit, you must not look at me until I get into the water. Oh, said Toad, that do. Oh, man, I didn't get to finish my book, and I didn't even start to read all of these, but I have to move with purpose to the next station. our Mrs. Norton, she wanted to build the good reading habit of reading more and more, but she couldn't get through her whole book. Does that mean she wasn't reading more and more? She still was. Reading more and more doesn't just mean reading lots of books. It means reading without stopping. It means when you get a bigger book like Frog and Toad with chapters, you read it all the way through. Great readers have the habit of finishing the books they start. When you just read a little bit and then you abandon it and get a new one and abandon it and get a new one and abandon it and get a new one, you're not really reading. So when you commit to a bigger book, like a chapter book, make sure that you're in it for the long haul. Reading more and more means reading your book from start to finish and then doing something at the end and then moving on to the next book. Sometimes you can take a break and go between books, like we're going to see Mrs. Norton do in a minute. But sometimes it means just sticking with the same book until it's all the way done. All right. I'm using my goal sheet as a bookmark. And I'm going to move with purpose to my next station, which is to read with a partner. Maybe we can read where I'm at in Frog and Toad. I can just tell them which parts I've read so far, and then we can keep reading. Or maybe I can just finish reading my book and read to self. So readers, today we talked about one more good reading habit that great readers build. Great readers take a sneak peek and check their sneak peek. They do something at the end of the book. But great readers also have the habit of reading more and more. They read more and more by reading lots of books, or they read more and more by reading big books without stopping, all the way from the beginning to the end, thinking about what's happening. I wonder how you will practice the good habit of reading more and more today. Happy reading!